We see how GT tailored up on all the internet where they are run off him. GT has done a great job for the radio station because one of the things that I learned that helped me in my morning show was the average man, the regular man, the Jamaican man. GT could have reached them because a couple of times when I was a youth, coming up on the road in a late night, I'll pay GT then listen to it. Sure. So I'm not dissing. This is not a disrespect for Mr. Taylor. But I heard him talking about IRIE FM's history. And one of the things when I talk about IRIE FM history, like he's trying to say that IRIE FM's history started at some point where he's concocting in his mind. Big up IRIE FM and the history, but you know when IRIE FM became number one, when Rastafari, me, I touched down on the planet, and me bring IRIE FM to number one. And if there's anyone alive that want to dispute that, come and dispute.
No, I know, I know it has generated some serious debate, and I want those to play the cup, but I don't know why it not playing. Maybe.
No, man, that's okay.
All right, so
that's okay.
But he took the responsibility of saying he was the one who made IRIE FM number one.
No, let's just put no.
Yeah,
that
I want you, shed some light on
the
situation about IRIE FM becoming number one.
All right, first, that statement is absolutely incorrect.
All right, we're back here on the Stepping Razor, and we should be going to the Ministry of Health on another outside link. And Shane, are they ready in terms of having this link up and running? This is Roger Concrete Asphalt holding the fort for Motor today. Remember that the People's Court feature, that is coming up a little later on, and we will be inviting people to call in with their questions. And today we'll be speaking with Attorney at Law Richard Goldburn, and we're going to look at the role of an attorney when purchasing a house or property in Jamaica. Make sure you listen out for that, because, sometimes we choose to go about the thing in some different way from, and in terms of legal. And sometimes, you just need to ensure that you do the right thing. So make sure you catch that feature at 4 o'clock. The topic, the role of the attorney when purchasing a house and property in Jamaica. Right, my people? So, all right. So here we know. We will be taking a break. And of course, it's a long program going until 6 o'clock, and I keeping your company today with so much things to say and so much things to do. So we're going to take the break, and then we come back. We discuss some more social issues, drop a music or two before the news and sports break, and then we return with much more action. So let's take a break, and we'll be back with much more on the Stepping Razor with eyes. Yours truly, Roger Concrete Asphalt. This man, Roger Asphalt here holding the fort for Motor, Stepping Razor. We are at the end of July. Yesterday was His Majesty's birthday. You don't know, August 1 will be IRIE FM's birthday, as well as, Emancipation Day. I want to pick up everybody downtown, especially down in the markets. You want to know when IRIE FM popular? Just go downtown and just go through all in the Coronation Market. You have some radio, down in a Coronation Market. It not left IRIE FM, no time, no day, no hour, no minute, I want to big up all of them people there in Coronation Market, if you please, the original name, the real name, but you don't know, we as town people who love say Coronation Market. Yeah, man, big up on yourself downtown and Barry Street and environs and all those, people down in the district area, the commercial district area of Kingston, bless up on yourself. You are the ones who continue to make IRIE FM number one. We have a short window, and one of the topics that, has been in the radar in recent times is the fact that legislators, they are recommending a total ban on advertising or display of tobacco products. So that means that very soon, people, business operators, shops and supermarkets and wholesalers, they won't be able to display any tobacco products. So like how now you can go in a certain place and you see it on display and you see the different brands, name brand and otherwise. you won't see that again if they push through this legislation. And I don't really have a problem with it. What me have a problem with it is I don't think they are enforcing the smoking in public places law. It sometimes, when I say a man can't smoke, and a man, because we don't know everybody go through for them thing. And a man can't have it. But do me a beg, man, stop. You have some people, say they are stadium, and they just come right beside you and braps, light up a spliff, light up a cigarette. And I think the law was put in place to prevent things like these. I don't see no enforcement of that. People will say, boy, this is Jamaica, and this is, you relax back and we're kind of down to earth. But sometimes I just feel, say, that is one of the law wouldn't really be enforced. And I don't have anything against anybody who smoke, I mean, your problem. As a man who used to smoke the ganja myself, long time ago still, you know that. But, oh God, man, go one side, man. If you feel like you want a pull, or you want a little, a little whizzy, or you want a little cigarette, forget your meds straight and whatever. I don't think it is necessary for you to just be out in the public, and especially with a large amount of people gathered. You just feel you can just come sit down and light up. It's not everybody will be pleased with that. You understand? You can't go one side and do your thing. That is my view. So the legislators, as I said, they have been pushing forward a recommendation for the total ban on advertising. And we see here where the lawmakers, during the sitting on Tuesday at the Parliament, examining the Tobacco Control Act, accepted a proposal for a total ban on promotion and advertising of tobacco products. And this would mean that wholesalers, retailers would not be allowed to display posters of tobacco products or even display them on shelves in cases. Okay, all right, nothing wrong with that. The JSC, chaired by Minister of Health, Dr. Chris Tufton, has been meeting for several years. Its deliberation interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and it held its last meeting last Tuesday. Members agreed to sign and submit a final report to the clerk of the House of Parliament. They acknowledge that it will be the Parliament convened after the upcoming general election again. So a lot of things being put off through the election. I'm going to pick up on this discussion because, we're coming up on news. So let's take this and then we head over to the news and sports department.
A 60-year-old laborer is to face the court soon to answer to a rape charge following an incident in Ferry Hill, Portland 3 months ago. Charged is Junior Simpson, otherwise known as Rasta of the community. Police say at about 5 p.m. on March 24, Simpson entered a woman's house, took $3,000 from his pocket and placed it in her handbag. It's alleged that he then demanded sex from the woman, and when she refused, he sexually assaulted her. Following the ordeal, the woman made a report to the police. An investigation was launched and Simpson was taken into custody on Thursday, July 17. He was charged on Tuesday, July 22. Police say Simpson also gave a confession statement. His court date is being finalized. With the fourth phase of the ban on specific types of single-use plastic products now in effect, manufacturers, distributors and importers are being urged to offer more environmentally friendly alternatives to consumers. Chief Technical Director of Development Planning, Environment Policy and Management in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Gillian Guthrie, said plastics are non-biodegradable products that can take decades to decompose. She said using more environmentally friendly products will cost a little more upfront, but over the long term, the benefits will be far greater. Ms. Guthrie further encouraged consumers to play their part by urging businesses to stock more sustainable options. In news overseas, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, is meeting U.S. Justice Department officials as pressure grows on the Donald Trump administration to release files linked to the disgraced financier's sex trafficking network. CBS News reports that the meeting will take place in Florida, where Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche had said he planned to speak to Maxwell about any information she had on other people whom Epstein may have helped sexually sexually abuse girls. Maxwell's lawyer reportedly told the BBC that she was looking forward to her meeting, which could help determine whether she will testify before Congress. The latest developments come as interest has switched back to Maxwell, a convicted sex trafficker in prison for helping Epstein abuse young girls. Calls have grown from the public, including President Trump's loyal supporters and lawmakers, for the Justice Department to release files related to the Epstein case. Finally, Kenya's police watchdog has accused officers of using disproportionate force to quell a recent series of protests during which 65 people died. In a report released on Thursday, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority linked most of the deaths to actions by the police. It also highlighted the role of opportunists who infiltrated the protests. Over the past 6 weeks, there have been 4 separate days of demonstrations which were called over police brutality and anger at government policies. The report says the first in the capital Nairobi on June 12 was largely peaceful. It followed the death in custody of a young teacher and blogger, which the police initially said was a result of self-inflicted injuries. Since then, 3 police officers have been charged with his murder.
Yeah, man. So, as we were saying, you know, that the lawmakers, they are looking at a proposal to kind of ban advertising of, you know, tobacco products, you know, cigarettes and them thing there. Anything to do with smoking. Ban the whole marketing of it publicly. What they are saying is that, you know, you can have the products, but you're not supposed to display it if them push through this legislation. So if you go into the supermarkets, you can still get it, but it won't be on any display. And as I say, I really don't have no problem with that. And I also want to see them enforce, you know, the law on smoking in public places. We don't have no problem in smoking in private places. But the public places, I don't think it is being adhered to in Jamaica. When you go like public places like stadium, and of course reminding listeners that coming up at 4 o'clock will be the People's Court, and of course you can join us for that, and we're gonna take calls as well during that segment. And the topic today is the role of an attorney when purchasing a house or property. And we'll be having a chat with Richard Goldburn, attorney at law and a licensed real estate agent. So this is very informative, and I think we really need to tune in for that, because a lot of people, you know, in terms of property, and they make a lot of mistakes, and you know, there's no law basically for you to have a lawyer, but to be on the safe side all the time, it is better to have some legal representation, and we will discuss that topic at 4 o'clock. So we're speaking about the whole proposed bill to ban tobacco advertising and promotion and total sponsorship. And, you know, we hear from a number of the persons under a comprehensive ban, all advertising, promotion as well as sponsorship without exception would be banned, according to Cadian Birch, Chief Programs Officer of the Office of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Of course, you know, there were some deliberations from the Minister of Health. It prompted him to question if the ban would extend to cigarette products and sale inside glass displays at outlets such as service stations and so on. He asks, it's really a point of purchase kind of thing, and it really on the box as opposed to anywhere else. And would that be considered a partial ban or a full ban, according to Tufton and his question? And Bird said in a case like that, the display of the tobacco product or relevant product at retail point of sale would be banned. They would be have to keep it away from the public view. She said the vendor could be allowed to have a list of the tobacco products available for sale, but not have it on public display. Government Senator Cavan Gale wanted a distinction to be made between the advertising, promotion and marketing of the product versus its display. Birch emphasized that a comprehensive ban means there is no display of the product wherever it is being sold. At that point, Tufton stated that in such a scenario, there is less of an incentive to purchase if the product was not on display. Opposition member of the JC, Dr. Maurice Guy, medical doctor, pointed out that the intent of the committee is a total ban on cigarettes or tobacco use eventually. Wow. That kind of look revolutionary. I don't know how that would work. It's basically supporting the point or the position that we would like to have eventually where there is no use of tobacco or tobacco products. I don't know about that one day. Well, according to Government Senator Sophia Longmore, she's also a medical doctor. She stated that while there could be a constitutional challenge in the event of a total ban becomes law, the recommendation was on sound footing. So let's see how that one pans out in terms of their deliberations, in terms of a recommendation on total ban of advertising or display of tobacco products. So we await with bated breath how that one will pan out. All right, so we continue with more music on the Stepping Razor. Taking over from DJ Commercial, who run things on IRIE FM. Yeah, man, we have a few minutes, and a few minutes to go, so in terms of before buck up in a DJ Commercial again, because him don't play, Yeah, man, big up DJ Commercial. All right, so we have a very important person here in the studio, a man who would have been there and done that and know all of the background and the behind the scenes from day one. I hear them used to call him Jesus up at GSC. Are you them used to call Jesus?
That would be too funny. Way
because
too
funny. Because he used to wear a certain way. That's why somebody tell me one day them said that. But maybe you never used to know what they used to call you Jesus.
Oh boy, look here. But from you go to Jamaica College.
Straight.
You have like 5,000 nicknames. Right? You know that. You know that. But what else do you expect from an institution of higher learning?
I tell you.
And remember, all institutions of higher learning are above Matilda's corner.
Exactly.
Right? So that is in order. JC, UTech.
Straight.
Right?
Same so it goes.
Same so.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Every man used to have a nickname, because my nickname, two nicknames I get, When I just got a youth name. We were speaking about him earlier. Flower was my farm teacher, my farm prefect. Him call me Crackers. But then again, a man start calling me Cocoa Bread. And every now and again, I walk by the road, Cocoa Bread. Yeah, man.
And then hold on, when you have a last name like mine, you can start to guess what the nicknames were. Anyway, leave that alone.
Brian Schmidt is here with us, man, the marketing manager for IRIE FM. You know what? We'll do a little preamble, because we need to set certain things straight. So, a legendary broadcaster who passed through IRIE FM, he had this to say recently, and then we're going to kick things off. So he's just using this as a preamble into our discussion about the early days of IRIE FM. All right, let us hear this legendary broadcaster, what he had to say, and the debates that have been generated over the couple of days since it was made. Not certain what is happening, but everything queued up a while ago, and now we're not hearing it. I don't know why. So let us kick in with Brian Schmidt. So he's a marketing manager. Of course, IRIE FM started back in 1990, and I remember the first time I hear IRIE FM. I never knew it was IRIE FM, because back in the days, it's pure cassette and play the biggest dance. So we used to sit down and like I'm on a drive past and I say, I wish dance that. I thought the first time we don't know nothing about IRIE FM, but I hear more and more Kiara play the same thing. I say, wait, the dance is the big man. And we say, really? And every Kiara pass we, back in the day, and we say, the dance is the big. Right. All the years says a station named IRIE FM.
Listen.
And IRIE FM kick off 1990. But there were a lot of behind the scenes at the time, and you were among the early pioneers in terms of the marketing of IRIE FM, Brian. I want you to take us back and talk to us about how difficult was it to market IRIE FM in the early days.
Okay, let me start with, your experience is very much like mine. I remember a sister of mine called me one Saturday morning. She said, B, go on 107.7. Say, why? She said, listen, man, don't ask me no question. Go on 107.7. Boom, went on. It was a Saturday morning. Who was on here? Kathy Owen was my sister. You remember? And she was known as KO. She's a knockout.
Yes,
right?
Kathy, yeah.
And then I was like, whoa, this is wicked. So KO go on, do her thing. Nice. Then next thing now, I hear about wake up call, easy skanking, this, that, whatnot. And I was like, same experience you had. And in those days, I was working at what was the #1 ad agency in the country, Mo Young Butler. And let me tell you, you see in the art department, pure IRIE running now. And it's like dance inside of the company, and every minute, poor Mr. Butler come in there. We need to do the work. Turn down the music. And as him walk out, we just turn it back up. It was great. So,
Yes.
But what it showed is that IRIE was very revolutionary in a lot of ways. In ways that some people don't even really understand now. But certainly the first thing is, historically, the music and the musicians were held back by the media establishment. They weren't getting the kind of play. So it was revolutionary that this station came along and embraced Jamaican music and Jamaicanness. So that was a huge marketing breakthrough. But then when you look on everything about the station, it's an entire exercise in marketing, If you even look on how we did news and sports, remember our news and sports comes on at a particular time. Why? Because we break the news before everybody else.
Yes.
We change the format of what news and sports was.
Yes.
To a different kind of format. Then when you start looking on the programming, you had things like Memories, you had In the Dancehall, you have Cutting Edge, you have Wake Up Call, you had Musically Speaking, you had Running African. So all of a sudden, you had all these different kind of programs and these different voices that weren't heard on radio before. So what that did now, it just created a whole different idea and concept of what radio is. And remember too, people forget, the #1 program from when IRIE started was Mix to the Max on a Saturday.
Mix to the Max.
With Gary G, right?
G.
And Mix to the Max was the first juggling program.
Yes.
Right? First juggling program. So there are so many firsts just from a broadcasting point of view that it's amazing. It really is amazing what was done. So when I came into the company a few years later, which was very, very interesting to me because I went to Reggae Bash, loved Reggae Bash. And like I said, I had a friend who worked here. IRIE called me up and invited me to join. Met with Carl Young, Chief, the boss. That interview took us about 5 minutes.
Yeah?
And then the remaining hour... the remaining hour, me and Chief chat about girl and fast car and this and that and whatnot.
True.
But what I loved right away is that I said, this is a man who is decisive.
Right.
He knows what he wants, and he has a very clear vision and direction where he wanted to go. And so really what I did is I tried to just build on the foundation that was already set. There were certain things that were set. And those were things that I particularly liked because it aligned with a lot of how I think.
Yes.
Because you know me already. I'm allergic to other people's ideas. If somebody has done something, I don't want to do it. No. If everybody is going left, I going right.
Yeah, man, I know that full speed.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that attracted me coming here. And then that became a big part of what we did because IRIE was kind of this outsider rebel station. And so corporate Jamaica never really knew how to handle IRIE. Now, fortunately for me, at this time when I came in, I had quite a few years in the advertising business as advertising manager for courts and so on. So I had a pretty well-established reputation in the advertising and marketing community and business. So that gave me a leg up because all of a sudden here is somebody who actually is in the industry, knows about the industry, now working for IRIE. Because the truth is that while some fantastic work was done by everybody at the station prior to then, they were kind of learning on the job.
Yes.
And creating things as they went along, which was actually a strength. It was not a weakness. It was a strength. It was a real strength. Yeah. And like I said, so all I was able to do was just build on it.
Yeah.
The key shot was, how do you build relationships with clients?
Right.
right? And how do you get them to trust you? Because you're this kind of outside brand.
Yes.
And so what we did, honestly, is we kind of leaned in a lot into the things that made us different from everybody else.
Yes.
And the clients started to buy into that more and more and more and more. And also they were getting the results. Because, I mean, I can tell you that, trust me, I can tell
Getting
you.
results because of the popularity.
Because of the popularity of the station.
at the time.
Yeah. I can tell you that.
Early 90s.
Early 90s. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I can tell you, for instance, we got promotions that were being done by other stations. And clients were getting quadruple and 6 times the amount of entries to those promotions when they shifted to IRIE. And so the word started to get out. And then what we did is we added a lot of structure and strategy to what we were doing. And just had a completely different approach, because our approach has never ever been that, boy, we're here to do some sales. Our approach has always been is that we are an investment advisor to our clients. We are helping our clients invest their hard-earned and hard-fought-for advertising and promotional dollar.
All right, we have 7 minutes. So there were so much things I wanted to talk about, but I'm get through off. So IRIE FM being number one, there was a legendary broadcaster who passed through IRIE FM. We can't call him name, Ran Muchette. He was viral recently saying that he was the one who make IRIE FM number one. I know, and I know it has generated some serious debate, and I want those to play the cup, but I don't know why it's not playing. Maybe.
No, man, that's okay.
All right, so
that's okay.
But he took the responsibility of saying he was the one who make IRIE FM number one.
No, let's just put down.
Yeah, I want you, shed some light on on
that
the situation about IRIE FM becoming number one.
All right, first, that statement is absolutely incorrect.
Okay.
IRIE FM was number one before Ron joined, right? And that was as early as 1994, where Marketing Strategies came out with the first survey that said IRIE was number one. And then 1995.
30 years ago.
Right.
Okay.
So then the next major research that came out that said that was the All Media survey by Don Anderson, right? Which confirmed that IRIE was the leading radio station in the country. And all of this predated Ron coming to the station. So he is incorrect in what he said. I was number one before Ron came here. Now, what Ron can say correctly is that the wake-up call was the number 2 morning program. It was a very, very close number 2 with Dion Mattis behind the Good Morning Man show, I think it was called, with Alan Magnus and Doreen, right? Then what happened is that when Ron came in, remember there was a period where it was Ron and Dion.
Yes.
Right, where they shared different days, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And what happened is that the numbers started to just inch up.
Right.
And then Dion left Jamaica, and then Ron wound up having the show Monday to Friday by himself. And in that period, our morning program then became the number 1 morning program.
Okay, so it's a number 1 morning program.
Yes. Now he can legitimately lay claim that he did a lot of the work that helped to push that program to number 1. But I wouldn't want to do any disservice to Dion, who did all the foundation work before that gave a base, a significant base,
a platform
to build on top of.
Yeah.
But to say that he or any one broadcaster made IRIE number 1, that would not be true. The only person who could begin to make that claim would be the gentleman we named earlier, Gary G, with Mix to the Max, because Mix to the Max was such a huge program. It was over 1 million listeners, Saturday mornings.
Straight.
Right? Yeah. So the only person who ever had numbers like that before Gary was Barry G, when Barry G was Barry G in the 80s.
Yeah, Barry G.
Right?
Yes, man.
When Barry G was the boogeyman in the 80s.
And I remember also the afternoon program where you started Iron Lion Zion. Every day, because we used to work at the post office them time, as postman and them thing. Then every postman come off on the road just for go Listen, Iron Lion, because that was the intro song for Gary G
Right.
afternoon
Right.
time, and that was, I tell you, that used to sell off around town.
Right.
What the program the name again?
The Jam.
The Jam.
The Jam.
The
Jam.
Yeah, man.
No,
They sell off in the afternoon.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, so there's no one person, but I can say that Gary G's program was just so huge, but it was really a combination of the efforts of everybody.
Yeah, combination of 3 minutes. I'm going to see I have a whole heap of points there.
No, it's if you really want to talk about the marketing and
Yeah,
advertising and
straight.
promotion
Yeah,
and
man.
first IRIE. No, it's like you have to give me a full show in a brethren.
I know.
No.
Let me get- All right, let me see what I have on the paper, All right, so 3 minutes.
Well, can I give you a joke?
Yes.
The first marketing thing I ever did
Yes.
was Media Expo. As I came here, there was a Media Expo. So I said, okay, boom, we're going to a Media Expo, which was at the Pegasus. Believe you me, one Media Expo RAM. Every radio station cost me. When I say get
remember
cost out,
that.
because the entire Media Expo was centered around IRIE's booth, which was just crazy and different.
Yes.
And then next thing, we made the news the next day. Clovis did a cartoon where you see people are choked to death coming out of Pegasus from ganja smoke. Because all the people, when they come in and start light up the chalice in the place,
Yes.
hear me to myself now, Roger. Jeez, you crime. I'm in this job for what? Couple weeks and I lose the work already. Look here, man.
Look here. Time that the ganja thing to
When
you.
Mr. Young heard what happened, he laugh him, say, yes, man, you know what we did? We kicked some. You know what
he was an unusual man,
Unusual,
Very
man.
unusual.
Unusual,
Unusual, man. Boy, I tell you. That's what I heard, I'm son bring me come at IRIE FM, Chad. So, yeah, man.
But, I'd want to say this, though. And this is very important. You see, creativity.
Yes.
Creativity is our engine at
Yes.
IRIE FM. You see, results, laughter, fun, vibes, that is our oxygen.
Yes.
But you know what is our fuel? Results and relationships. Because without the relationships with the clients and giving them the results, we don't have anything. And that is our fuel. Because that's what we are concerned about.
Yes.
It's nice to be number one and all of that. Yeah, great, wonderful. But the greatest feeling in the world, and you talk to any of our sales reps,
Yes.
any of our people in programs and so on, the greatest feeling in the world is when a client comes to you and say, you know something, what you guys did for me, it worked.
Yes.
That's the most important thing, because we're here to serve. We're here to serve our listeners, and we're here to serve our advertisers.
Our clients. Certainly. In wrapping up, in a nutshell, just any additional thing you might want to leave with us.
I think we did revolutionize the industry as the kind of radio station we are, but we revolutionized what radio stations can do. The way we did outside broadcast, completely different. The fact of even having a music machine, starting the reggae machine, before you had the Enforcer and Shockwave and all that.
Yeah,
we
Shockwave.
did that. Reggae Bash. People don't understand the power of our Reggae Bash.
Yes.
No artist was signed internationally if you did not perform on Reggae Bash. If you were not good enough to perform on Reggae Bash, you were not good to be signed by a label.
Yes.
Right? And that's not conjecture, that is fact. So a lot of people don't even understand how big and how powerful and how important IRIE FM is, not just to media, but to the music industry and to the culture.
The culture,
And to the
very
culture.
importantly, the culture.
Yeah.
The culture and the psyche, even the psyche of the nation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. But Brian, Jano, there are so much things we can, as I say, if we really should sit down and discuss IRIE FM, it will take a whole program. But sometimes good things comes in small packages, and this is one
That's
of them.
what she said.
Yeah. I tell you. But give thanks still. Give thanks, Brian Schmidt, the marketing manager for IRIE FM. Give us a real synopsis of the real history of IRIE FM, and especially from marketing the station point of view. So give thanks, Brian, and we'll back up again.
Thanks. Enough respect. I must give one quick shout out, Raj.
Yes.
You see Corinne Stewart?
Corinne.
You see the work that lady did in the early days to set a foundation with clients.
Yes.
amazing.
Right.
Amazing. Big up, Kareem.
Can't forget that. All right, give thanks, Brian. See how God know them Babylon start around young man again for smoke ganja. Really be the ramp it up. All right, this is a stepping razor on IRIE FM. Yeah, and we will be heading now into a very special feature. Of course, you know, IRIE FM in recent weeks, we are having the People's Court. And today's topic is the role of an attorney when purchasing a house property in Jamaica. And while it's not mandatory by statute to hire an attorney when purchasing a property in Jamaica, it is standard practice and strongly advised to retain a licensed attorney due to the complexity and risks involved in property transactions. Your attorney safeguards your rights, ensures due diligence, and prevents fraud or costly legal issues. We also will be having a one caller who might be listening and want to get in a question. But we have a U.S. attorney at law and a principal at Goulburn Conveyance, Richard Goulburn. He's a licensed real estate agent and an aspiring real estate developer. Good afternoon to you, Richard.
Good afternoon, Mr. Asford. Good afternoon, listeners.
Yeah, man. Good to have you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. So, right off the bat, what are some of the risks associated with buying a property in Jamaica without a lawyer?
Well, I think the gravest risk, is that you will lose your money, right? And so losing your money is a risk. The risks are endless. You have situations where you might be tied up in the transaction for months, years. You understand? So there are a lot of risks, but I would say the gravest one is definitely losing your money.
All right. Mm-hmm. So if you love that show your money, go buy a house without a lawyer, man. For that you really want. All right. What are some of the common challenges arising during property purchases?
Well, every property transaction is different, right? And so some of the common ones we find is that persons are unable to obtain financing because what we find is that in Jamaica, most persons are relying on a mortgage to purchase property. Let's be real, like most people, they don't have the cash up front. And so they find themselves in a challenge, they want to purchase and they even attempt to purchase, but the financing falls through various reasons. So I would say one of the most common challenges is the lack of financing, not having that financial buffer, because outside of actually buying the property, there are other costs associated. And if you're not properly prepared, then you will suffer as a result of that. So I would say the financial aspect. Another aspect, is really not doing the due diligence and not ensuring that the property that you're buying is suitable for what you need it to do. So, for instance, you're buying a piece of land and you want to open up a shop on the land, and you realize that, if I had done my homework, right, based off of what I want this property to do, it's not suitable for that. So there are various challenges. And as I said, I think one of the most important things that I want to leave with the listeners after this conversation is the importance of using an attorney, because a lot of these things that may arise can be, what I would say, avoided by using an attorney.
Yes. How can buyers be defrauded or misled if they skip legal advice?
Well, I can give you a very common example. So I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when persons had said that, they were building in I think it was Clifton, St. Catherine, and where, persons were purporting to sell the lands that didn't have the legal ownership and the legal authority to sell the land. You remember that, exactly. So, people were showing receipts and all of that. And, it's unfortunate, but it is very common. People all across the island, unfortunately, are saying, yeah, man, I will sell it, that's my own. And, the unsuspecting person gives this person their money, and it is not so. So, if you have an attorney, the attorney will do the due diligence and ensure that the person who is purporting to have the legal authority to sell the land actually is able to sell the land. And, I'll give you another example. So there are instances, where the person untitled still has an opportunity, still has the legal authority to sell land, in the cases of estates where, it's through the executor. So having an attorney gives you that safeguard to ensure that, if anything seems awry or seems odd, that, the checks can be done to ensure that it's okay.
Yeah. So how hiring an attorney can save time and money during the purchase process?
Well, so for, and I don't want to get overly complex for the listeners. I want to be able to break it down for them. So, for example, you're driving your car.
Yes.
Yeah, you're driving your car, right? And you hear a sound in the engine, right? What are the chances that you know exactly what's wrong in the engine? If you bring it to the mechanic, he can, maybe connect it to a diagnostic tool and tell you in a matter of minutes, right? Versus you there having no expertise about engines, trying to do and figure out what is wrong on your own. So it's a similar situation with hiring an attorney, because and I'll qualify what I'm saying in relation to real estate attorneys. So attorneys that practice conveyancing and real estate in general. So an attorney that is focused on areas like that would be able to guide you in a way that their expertise and their experience would allow you to navigate the transaction in that way, as opposed to, you trying to navigate a legal situation by yourself. And you can see the challenge with that.
Okay, yeah, man. So in what ways does a lawyer help buyers to take advantage of legal protections?
So I wouldn't say necessarily take advantage of legal protection, because if, as the question asked, you said buyers, so really is buyer beware. So the onus is on you, the buyer, to do your homework, right? There's, in my opinion, not very much legal protections to you when you're purchasing. You really have to just do your homework through your attorney, do your homework and ensure that you're protecting yourself. So the question really is that, the lawyer is the one doing the protecting, really, to be honest. The lawyer is the one doing the protecting.
Yeah. How can proper legal guidance prevent long-term property disputes?
So, in terms of property disputes, the various disputes can arise because, a property transaction can get litigious. It can get litigious. But I think what would happen is that all sales or all property transactions are guided by a sale agreement. And so having the legal guidance would allow you to be able to, understand your obligations under the agreement, right? And once you understand your obligations under the agreement and you're well advised and you'll be able to fulfill your obligations, then you want as best as possible to avoid and prevent disputes by ensuring that you comply with the terms of the agreement for sale. Yeah. Now, it's unavoidable. Sometimes things go wrong, right? And having an attorney also
they most times will.
No, man, I wouldn't say most times, because
I shouldn't say most, but as they oftentimes will.
Yeah, oftentimes, right? Because the truth is that I have more property transactions that go smoothly than get, into a dispute. You understand? It's more likely one and two get into a dispute. Yeah, and having an attorney that is okay with the situations and how to resolve. Sometimes eventually it might end up in court, but you really want to try and avoid that because that is an additional burden to you. Again, more money and time, and a lot of people, they just want to get their property purchased.
True. All right, we are speaking with Richard Goldburn, attorney at law, and we are discussing the role of an attorney when purchasing a house or property in Jamaica. Very important topic. As we say, we have a space for a caller who wants to ask a question of Richard. We're going to take a break in another 2 minutes, so we have another question to get into Richard. What is the attorney's role in a property transaction in Jamaica?
Well, I would have kind of alluded to it earlier, but it's really to protect your interests. There is an administrative role as well, because when you're purchasing property, there's one, the legal document, which is the agreement for sale, which has to be reviewed. You understand? It has to be reviewed and ensure that, you're well compliant with the terms of it, because if you're not, the transaction may fall through and you may lose money. So that is one. So the agreement for sale. You also have the various reports from professionals. So, for example, if you're relying on mortgage financing, the bank is going to mandate that you do a valuation report. And the attorney has to check that valuation report to ensure that, based off the estimated market value of the property and the loan that you're willing to take, that you're trying to take, it matches up. And if it doesn't, what are the implications of that? You have the surveyor's report, which, most of the times will identify a breach if there is one. And in the event that there is a breach, the bank also has a problem, giving you the mortgage. So there are different documents. And as I said, there's an administrative role in it, really. But I would say that it's just the overall role is to protect you, but there are different facets to doing that.
Right. All right, as I said, we are speaking with Richard Goldburn. We're going to take a break. He's an attorney at law. We are discussing the topic, the role of an attorney when purchasing a house or property in Jamaica. So this is a Stepping Razor on IRIE FM. Roger Haspel here holding the fort for Muta today. And of course, we are going on until 6 o'clock. And we take a break. We'll be back with more in the topic, the role of an attorney when purchasing a house property in Jamaica. Back here on the Stepping Razor. And we are having a discussion on the topic, the role of an attorney when purchasing a house or property in Jamaica. We have attorney at law, principal at Goldburn Conveyance, Richard Goldburn. And we welcome back, Richard.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm here.
Yeah, man. Great. So what legal documents and checks does a lawyer really handle?
Okay, so I think the most important one is the title in the event that it is registered property. For the purpose of this conversation, we're going to focus on registered property. So the title, right, most importantly. So I would say in order of priority after the title is when you get to that stage, the agreement for sale, because that really governs how the transaction will go. If it's a cash transaction, if it's a mortgage transaction, the time and all the terms of the transaction. But also, the attorney does due diligence checks to ensure that, there are no encumbrances on the property, there are no caveats which can prevent the registration and the type of caveats. So it's really an exhaustive list of things. But one thing I'd like to say is that no two property transactions are the same, so one property transaction may have specific documents specific to that property that need to be checked or that are relevant, but for another property transaction is not necessarily relevant. But the two important, I would say, is definitely the title and the agreement for sale. And there are other, there are other documents that do come into play, like the instrument of transfer, but typically, once you have a good attorney, you will break it down and explain what each of the documents really are,
And then how do the attorney ensure that the property has a clean title?
Well, the attorney does ensure that the property has a clean title, because, there are different things that affect titles.
I would think for the purpose of the person who is buying or want the title transfer over to them. I would figure that's how the question would come into.
Right. So I mentioned one earlier, and it was through the caveat searches. So the attorney would do a caveat search to ensure that there are no caveats that would adversely affect the transaction. So really, you have caveats that won't affect the transaction. People always I remember somebody coming to us and say, "Oh, the property have a caveat," and then we'll check it out. It's really a JPS caveat, which is very common and doesn't affect. JPS caveat, which doesn't.
She and myself is asking, explain what a caveat is, because we always hear the word and it sounds big. What is a caveat?
It's really just a restriction preventing a particular dealing or transfer of the property. So it's just a restriction. But some of them really have different effects. So, like for example, now a family member, a property is in a dispute, or a property is in dispute, and somebody's claiming an interest on the property, and they're saying no, it shouldn't be sold because I have X amount of interest in the property. So it prevents any transfer. There are different types of caveat, but
You'd have to go to court for that.
Well, there
Just
are
a question.
options. Yeah, no, there are options to remove caveats. I don't want to get too much into that, but there are options
technical.
to address and remove. It's technical. There are options to address and remove caveats. You can warn them, or you can go to court. But typically, you warn the caveat, right? And if the person who lodges the caveat doesn't provide court documents to the registrar within 14 days, and this is just one version of a caveat, then typically it will lapse. So the person who lodges the caveat needs to also go to court and provide, substantive evidence that why this caveat should remain on title.
I see. So at what stage now would, in terms of the buying process, should someone hire an attorney?
Typically, I would say after you've made an offer and it has been accepted. Because the truth is that you can have a consultation before, when you're in the property market, you can have a consultation and speak to an attorney and say, well, this is what I'm intending to do. How do your advisor go about doing it? Right? But in terms of retaining an attorney to represent you on a transaction, usually that can be done after your offer to purchase the property has been accepted.
Right. And in terms of Jamaicans trying to find a qualified real estate attorney in Jamaica, how they can do that?
Well, on the GLC website, right?
The what?
There is
The what?
General Legal Counsel website.
GLC.
The GLC, yeah.
General Legal
GLC
Counsel. Okay.
There is a database of attorneys that are licensed to practice in Jamaica. However, not all attorneys on that list practice, conveyancing or real estate law. So you can find attorneys there, or you can check if your attorney is licensed there. But really, I would say, in terms of a layman, probably a referral. If you know a family member or a colleague, somebody that has, utilized the services of an attorney before, you can ask them how their experience. Yeah, ask them how their experience was with that attorney. Not to say that you're going to have the same experience, but it's a good starting point. After you get the referral now, you double check and you go on GLC website and you say, oh, yes, man, okay, he's licensed to practice. And now you can feel a little reassured that, you're in good hands. But as I said, you may necessarily not have the same experience that the person who referred you had, Right, but and alternatively, you can come to Goldberg Conveyancing. So
because one man you can have the greatest thing to say about him, and then the next man say,
right.
So as we wrap up, what should the buyer expect to pay in legal fees during our property purchase?
Well, it ranges. I would say, attorneys. It's a free market, so people are free to negotiate. But I would say you can expect the legal fees to pay anywhere between 1.5 and 3% of the sale price of the property. Okay. But the truth is that you can negotiate, and that is highly dependent on the price of the property. So, for example, 3% of 100 million and 3% of 10 million is very different. So you can definitely
3% of 100 million is so much.
Off the top of my head, I'm
all right, don't worry.
I don't want to tell
you. No worries.
But I just use that very broad example to show that the percentage varies, and because of the purchase price, you're then able to negotiate a little bit better. So the higher the purchase price, I would say, is the smaller the percentage usually.
I see. Any additional thing you want to leave with us?
I would say that, persons that are preparing to go into the property market, they need to be focused, and they need to ensure that, number one, that they're in a position, and I mean a financial position, to take it on. Because the truth is that for a lot of people, and for most people, a property is the most expensive thing they're ever going to buy in their life, And I would advise them to do their homework, such as listening to programs like this with professionals that are going to, help them and give them the information to start on the journey. So you definitely want to put yourself in a position, one, by doing the homework, doing the education, and two, getting yourself in a financial position, because, to be honest, it's not cheap and it's not easy. You understand? And that is what I would like to leave with persons.
Boy, I learned a lot today. I want to thank you, Richard Goldburn, attorney at law, as we discussed the role of an attorney when purchasing a house property in Jamaica. And I'm certain a number of listeners would have gotten valuable information. Thanks for joining us today, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Bless up. All right. Richard Goldburn there, attorney at law. All right. So, as we say, we're in the election season, and, my first time in the world we used to cuss politician, but you know what? We done cuss them, We now cuss politician again. Yeah, man. Isachar did tell us already, hear him. Yeah, man. So it's now time for African names on the Stepping Razor today. And we will begin with a few boys' names. First one here we have is Jabari. Jabari, this popular African baby name, has a modern sound, though it is actually an ancient Egyptian name. It means famous and brave, or famous or brave. Jabari. So that's a name that, fairly having a modern sound, but it is actually ancient Egyptian. Jabari, meaning famous, brave. Kazim. And it has a very cool meaning. Controller of anger. It's a name given throughout Africa, but most often used in Nigeria. All right, so we have Dakarai. This three-syllable African boy name lends easily to a host of nicknames, including Daka, Kai, or Rai. The name has Zimbabwean roots and means happiness. Dakarai. All right. Azibo, the Malawian name meaning earth, also has a youth connotation in Nigeria, meaning this cute baby boy name, an extra special choice. Azibo. All right. Also, let's check some other boys' name. We have Omari in Swahili. This African boy means God the highest. From the Egyptian highborn. Two related meanings worthy of a special little boy. Salim can be spelled S-A-L-I-M or S-A-L-E-E-M. Either spelling is acceptable on this unique African boy name, translating to peaceful and safe in Swahili. And then there is Taj. Taj means exalted in Urdu and also carries the ancient Sanskrit meaning crown. Taj. That's some boy's name, African boy's name. Let us check out some girl's name. Ada. We couldn't choose which one of those gorgeous options to showcase Ada, but Ada is the first daughter. And also there's a derivative of Eva, Adana. Her father's daughter is Swahili. So Ada is the first daughter, and Adana is father's daughter. We have Jamila, with or without the H. And this means beautiful. There is Latrice. And this Tanzanian baby girl means noble woman. Lulu means pearl and used around the world in various lovely meanings to explore. Mashel, meaning who resembles God. And there is Malaika, one you have likely heard. This popular African girl name belongs to Kardashian, BFF, and meaning queen. Also, let us check out some other African girls' names. Makina, well known around the globe, but its African meaning is happy one. There is Nima, the Swahili meaning born in prosperity. Yeah. There is Tamala. This is a unique African name for girls mean dark tree. For a moody nature name, any little one will grow proudly into. And there is Taylor, with a rhyme more widely used with Kayla. And it translates to she has been seen. Yes, indeed. Seen. Yes. All right, that was African names on the Stepping Razor today. Certainly hope that one of those names might be of your liking, and you can name your son or daughter one of those African names. All right, people. So we're heading up to Crashpot in another 6 minutes or so. And just reminded that this is a Stepping Razor. And if you just joined us, this is Roger Asphalt, Concrete Asphalt, holding the port promoter today. And, for years, I've been searching for this song. And I couldn't believe I'm a bucket up the other day. Yeah, man. You don't know, say, it's August 17th, another IRIE FM flagship event is coming up, Marcus Garvey celebrations, August 17. Make sure to gear up for that, August 17. All right? So remember that. But this is a song where is when me a teenager, that was the last time I hear it. I search for it, and it just pop up and I finally find it. Yeah, man. A lot of people in my age group or above my age group will remember this song. It's from the late, great Bagger Brown. And also a part of the track is Tiger and the Jays. And they are singing about Daddy Marcus. Yes, man. Yeah, man. Run things. Yeah,
good evening. Simon. What's
Simon, what a go on?
Yes, man. Stepping Razor, that a go on.
Of course.
But, I listen to teacher already and like, they must say, when I time when Rastafari movements rise up, Marcus, Garvey, write a letter in my office and send go to the British and say, careful, Empire might look for a big stone and come over there because a movement, a Rastafari. People, it kind of come to prominence. So, would I love to see more of the some kind of Rastafari movements come to the fore to same way with the Pan-Africans and the Marcus Garvey. We are the thing. We give thanks for the movement. Them.
Of course.
Some of them kind of want some watering, like, want some time after. Keep there. Yeah.
Where's that? Where's the keep there?
Yeah, man. Now tell the weather down from your side.
Oh, yeah, man. The weather good, man. The weather good.
The climate change that cause the heat, you feel like a true COVID with it and the world lock down the earth and replenish the way I get the full dose
you know why?
to get.
Because this is traditionally, in terms of you study the season, the science shows this time of the year is usually summer. And I've been to hotter places than Jamaica. Trust me, I've been to places in the world where, may I tell you, Jamaica, the hottest Jamaica weather coming like winter to them weather.
Yeah, but otherwise them weather they would have to be a stand up in a long for you get the full dose. But them weather you know it's piercing in my day.
Man, it not change, man. What would be unusual if and then what you could attribute to climate change is if in December something like this happen. That time of year there. That is when you should be concerned because that would be like a turn back thing, a El Nino kind of thing. You understand? That would be climate change. But the regular season where science over thousands and thousands of years shows the season.
So them extra flood in them flood time and the extra sun like in a summer nowadays a regular thing them thing.
Yeah,
not really
so
in a
if
class, we're not concerned.
no, just a regular pattern of how the whole system, the earth system set up. But we now dispute, say, in terms of what you talk about, where man-made issues have affected the weather.
Yeah.
And but in terms of certain things, when it turns back, if winter happening in a summer and summer happening in a winter season, that is a problem. That is an issue.
But then me I pray again. I said, whether the COVID did have the place under 4-year lockdown, so
no, COVID did have the place on a COVID did have the place.
Kind of get a time to replenish,
Yeah, on a COVID did have the place under
a reset vibe.
Yeah, governments and people did have the place under lockdown. Yeah.
I'm quick now run right now, but two little things that the people them are feel it down on Palestine. The boy me want to pick them pan and them
rough.
So not go through I know you know here so a convoy go through for them.
No, because what is happening now is that Israel look like them just get a free run for flatten Gaza. And it's a long time war between the two, but it's like I said, now them get the extra ammunition now for going and flatten the thing completely. But you still can't destroy the people, You might can't destroy the structures and them thing, but even and you know what gonna happen? What is gonna happen is that a couple years from now, Israel have to pay Palestine reparation. That's gonna happen. It's only we alone, black people, not get recompense in terms of recommendation.
Yeah, man.
But every other races where go through genocides like these, them get them reparation. And it's all going to happen with Palestine. What chance it?
I hope. Because they have them money and waste for all them power thing and things. Thanks for the time. Hear about
it. Man. Give thanks, brother. Give thanks.
Give thanks.
I'm out. Yes, I'm out. We have another call online. Greetings. You're on. You're live.
Yeah, blessed.
Blessed.
Yeah, man. I'm going up at the foreign.
Yeah, man, from 2 o'clock we have been announcing it's a motor out today,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
man.
Yeah, may I say, the silly season or the election season, go on and thing on. Me say, I think I go on where, like, the man I'm out to build up the vibes of the 1980s. Bring back certain, That's
you get that feeling that some dividing of the people are going right now. You get that feeling?
Yeah, I get that feeling there because the hungriness, the hungriness to them hungry for power and all them things there. That you can see it. Like one way have power, them no want to let it go. And
and the one who out of power do everything if you get back in a power. That's why it goes.
Yeah, but it kind of more show up on the one we have. Yeah, it kind of more show up on the one we have power still. Because like anything with the one where not have power oppose, the one we have power. Remember you don't have power already, See, the one we have power always a pressure it and I behave like I not see them work.
But if you study the history of Jamaica, no one man stay forever, And I mean the history of Jamaica shows say from Henry Morgan days come down during slavery and all them things. There was a time when people just force change. And no matter what, people power and these kind of things. So
change is always good.
Well, it depends because suppose a man don't want to change. Suppose the majority don't want to change, then we can't. But if the majority want to change, the majority just want to change.
Yeah,
you can't go around that. And if the majority don't want to change, you can't go around that either.
You can't
so
go
we have
around
to just wait and see. Where the majority of the Jamaicans are saying right now, you want change or you don't want change?
That's why I know. Well, we don't want. Yeah. We don't want to. One may have influence, saying or one may have a way where them smarter than the lower people. I'm not saying lower people. I mean low, insane low. Saying but some people are ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
People who don't really know about politics and know the psychology of it. So I want to go use them now to really
It always happens still, you know. It always happens still, but some, you know, but through a lot of new people I learn the politics now, it would have come like it new, but not really new. But give thanks still, yeah?
Yeah, man, bless it.
Bless up yourself. All right, this is a Stepping Razor on IRIE FM. We take a break. We'll be back with much more. We are going on till 6 o'clock. Roger Asphalt here holding the fort for Muta today. That's enough, people. That's it for the Stepping Razor today. Pleasure sitting in for Muta Paducah. Concrete Asphalt here saying peace out. And you don't know, bless up yourselves and other people. Keep it locked right here on the nation's number one IRIE FM. Of course, next week is 35th anniversary, you know. Remember that. All right, so that's about it. We'll close out with the man Eli Hugh Morris. Broken silence as we head towards news and sports. Greetings, and if you just join us, bless up yourselves. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. See? All right.
Now the details. Attempts are being made by the union representing guardsmen workers at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston to secure a meeting with financial institutions regarding insurance deductions from the guards' salary. The Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees UCASE reported that workers became concerned following claims that money deducted from their salary for insurance had not been paid over or were paid late to the respective financial institutions. UCASE President Vincent Morrison said the issue negatively affected the workers' credit ratings. Morrison said guardsmen reported that the funds were paid over and that in some cases technical challenges resulted in the payments not being reflected on the workers' account. The union leader wants to meet with the financial institutions to get further clarity on the matter.
We have been again promised that they will do what they have to do to ensure that the money deducted will be sent early on time to the respective financial institution. We still insist that meeting, that stand-off meeting, one-off stand-off meeting with the financial institution must be held because, you know, all we're seeking is one, the truth. And when we talk about the truth, we don't believe that the workers' money that is being deducted should serve any other purpose than to pay the workers' loans which, if they don't pay it on time, there are some institutions that are charging them anywhere between 50 and 90%.
Morrison argued that the workers should not be penalized for late or non-payments.
So the workers should not be penalized because they earn the money, the company agree to take the money from them, pay, send it over on time. And, you know, our position is that whoever is at fault, whatever interest that would have accrued on these late payments must be paid to the workers, right? They have asked that we do a press release. I'm waiting for them to send me that release. So we are going to contact some of the major companies.
He said a partial resolution was reached during a meeting with guardsmen yesterday.
So the meeting yesterday resolved partially that issue. There are a number of other issues that we discussed, but one of the things that we have agreed to at the meeting is that there will be a monthly meeting, because we believe if there's a monthly meeting, the problem could be cauterized for the benefit of all in a more timely manner. So we thought that was a good outcome of the meeting yesterday.
UK's President Vincent Morrison. Grade 7 students who require focused attention to correct fundamental issues relating to literacy and numeracy will do only 6 subjects and not the usual 10 or 11. This, as the Education Ministry aims to support children who may not be academically equipped to handle too many subjects. Speaking during the Education Transformation Oversight Committee ETALK press conference at Jamaica House yesterday, Chairman Dr. Adrian Stokes highlighted this concern and noted that measures are being taken to address it. He stressed the importance of the students being provided with the necessary support so that they can attain a successful secondary level education.
We currently face a serious problem in some of our high schools. Some students arriving from our primary schools via the PEP exam are not academically equipped to undertake 10 subjects in grade 7. These students, some of them are placed in what is called the Pathway 3 by the ministry. They require focused attention to correct fundamental issues with literacy and numeracy. Therefore, I'm happy that come this September, students who require academic assistance, as indicated by their Pathway 3 grouping, will do only 6 subjects in grade 7 instead of the multiple subjects some are currently undertaking. These students will be taken through a more targeted program to ensure they are better equipped to pursue a successful secondary school life. It's a very important development.
Chairman of ETOC, Dr. Adrian Stokes. Meantime, opposition spokesman on education Damon Crawford has taken issue with ETOC's announcement that grade 7 students with literacy and numeracy challenges will only do 6 subjects instead of the usual 10. Speaking at a policy breakfast in Kingston this morning, Mr. Crawford asked what students will learn from doing 6 subjects if they are unable to read or comprehend. Mr. Crawford stressed that focus must be placed on literacy and comprehension.
But if you can't read and comprehend, what are you going to learn from the 6 subjects? It's like they say, oh, we're going to test literacy now in PEP. That don't make no sense. The PEP result come 2 weeks before school done, so what's going to be an intervention? They're just talking things, just saying foolishness. If you can't learn 10, you can't learn 6, because if you can't read and comprehend, you can't learn anything. So within it, you have word recognition, you have word sounding, you have comprehension. Most of our children, even when they're the word recognition, is failing at the comprehension hurdle. So if I'm doing history, don't I need to be able to comprehend? Don't I need to be able to read? Don't I need to be able to access and assess? So while I might give you history things to read, your focus is on the literacy and the comprehension. Not on if Columbus was the first person. And to show that they're going along as they go along, they haven't identified the 6. What are the 6? Since they said they're only going to do 6 and not 10, what are the 6? Who choose?
Opposition spokesman on education, Damien Crawford. Project lead for the Transforming Education for National Development Trend Initiative, Dr. Vernice Morrison-Leon, says full use of the centralized cloud-based accounting software in schools will start on August 1. The software suite is being developed to improve financial accountability and resource allocation within the education system. The initiative aims to empower school administrators and the Education Ministry with real-time financial data for better decision-making and improve educational outcomes. Speaking at the Education Transformation Oversight Committee's press conference yesterday, Dr. Morrison-Leon said the system will be implemented fully next month.
One of our recommendations states develop a centralized cloud-based accounting software that can be used. And I'm happy to report that with that recommendation, we have completed 80% of the implementation activities, and the activities that we have completed includes training of personnel in our schools, and we're talking about 50 of our schools, onboarding 31 schools on the government financial management system, upgrading the Accountant General software to facilitate separation of accounts. The full use by the schools will take effect 1st of August 2025, and that is something that we are anticipating.
Trend Project Lead, Dr. Vernice Morrison-Leon. Caribbean financial institutions are being placed on high alert as malware attacks targeting automated teller machines, ATMs, continue to rise across the region. Dwayne Russell, the managing director of MC Systems, a leading financial fintech solutions provider, is urging local banks and service providers to act quickly to prevent the problem. He was speaking on a cybersecurity panel at the recent Jamaica Bankers Association's Anti-Fraud Committee and the Jamaica Institute of Financial Services annual anti-fraud seminar. Mr. Russell revealed that ATM malware attacks have spiked across the Latin American and Caribbean region.
It's not here as yet, but we do support ATMs outside of Jamaica. There has been, over the last 6 months, a 46% increase in malware attack on ATMs. Luckily for us, that's not the case yet, but we are aware of that.
The fintech business leader explained that ATM malware attacks involve malicious software designed to compromise the machines, allowing attackers to steal cash or access sensitive information. He said these attacks can be carried out through various methods, including physical access to the ATM, network infiltration, or remote exploitation.
Pretty much what the guys are doing is, since you make your network so secure, etc., we're going to find some way to get to where you have your processing and memory, and just do an attack on that and take control, bypass all of these security configuration. Very, very effective. What that means is that once again, we have to lock down everything to make sure that everything is being monitored.
He said MC Systems, which provides the hardware and software for nearly half of Jamaica's ATMs, has been actively working with local institutions to prepare. The company is tightening monitoring protocols, upgrading system configurations, and investing in proactive threat detection.
What we're doing as MC Systems with our products and services is that, one, we ensure that just like all of our engineers are certified, we're up to date in terms of some of these attacks. We're also using AI to help us to kind of understand how we use our software.
Managing Director of MC Systems, Dwayne Russell. Police have identified all 3 persons who died as a result of injuries sustained in a motor vehicle crash along the Queen's Highway in Discovery Bay, St. Ann yesterday. They are 45-year-old taxi operator Clint Carty of Old Folly District in Discovery Bay, Georgia Johnson, and Patricia Emen. 7 other persons, including 2 toddlers, remain hospitalized. Their condition is not known. The crash, which occurred at about 11:20 a.m., involved a Mitsubishi Outlander and a white Honda step-wagon motor car, which was being operated by Carty as a taxi along the Discovery Bay to Falmouth route. It's reported that the driver of the Outlander lost control of the vehicle, which collided with the step-wagon motor car. The 3 deceased were occupants of the step-wagon motor car. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucien Jones, while expressing condolences to the relatives and friends of the crash victims, again stressed the need for stricter penalties for persons who breach road safety regulations. He believes this will help stem road crashes.
And therefore, this brings to mind something which the National Road Safety Council has been advocating for some time, to make sure that all the different elements that make up sanctions are revisited and examined carefully so that we can bring to bear all of these issues in an effort, a national effort, to reduce the carnage on our roads. We have to look again at the breathalyzer system very carefully. We have to see how quickly we can introduce cameras both to detect and to send tickets. We have to look at the merit point system and to see where there's some deficiency and how soon we can fix it. These are things that we have to do urgently in order that we may save lives on our roads, because what is happening is a great tragedy and there's too many lives being lost, precious lives being lost on our roads. We have to act and act swiftly to make sure that people know that sanctions will be applied swiftly and consistently.
Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucien Jones. Opposition spokesman on transport, Michael Phillips, says he is dissatisfied with the efforts of the governing Jamaica Labour Party to sensitize the population on road safety. He made the statement during the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services TOD's weekly virtual meeting last evening. Mr. Phillips highlighted that more needs to be done as it relates to public awareness for road safety. In April, it was announced that Cabinet approved a 5% allocation from traffic fines to the Transport Ministry to boost road safety efforts. However, Mr. Phillips said he is not pleased with the level of sensitization.
A little bit disappointed in what I've consistently have been speaking about over the last 4 or 5 years or longer, about how much it is that we do spend on just public awareness where road safety is concerned. The minister made some pronouncement that a percentage of the ticketing monies that they collect from ticketing would go towards a public awareness campaign. We have seen dribs of it, but I'm not satisfied that we're doing enough to sensitize the population.
He also highlighted the need for infrastructure improvement. According to Mr. Phillips, many of the crash hotspots are in roadway sections that need to be rehabilitated.
So government has a responsibility, because if you look at many of the hotspots are roads that are in dire need of rehabilitation, and the attention has not been put on those hotspots, as the data is there where the hotspots are, and that I expected that we would have government themselves through the National Works Agency would have done some work in reducing the accidents and fatalities in those hotspot areas. Suffice to say, it is sad that we have not been able to reduce the numbers of fatalities.
Opposition spokesman on transport, Michael Phillips. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the development of the $1 billion Harmony Cove project in Trelawney will not burden the country's public purse, highlighting what he described as an example of good economic management. Speaking at the project's ribbon-cutting ceremony Tuesday, Dr. Holness stressed that sound governance and strong economic performance are key to creating an environment where large-scale investments can move forward without the need for public funding. The Prime Minister rejected the notion that economic management doesn't matter. He also pointed out that avoiding poor fiscal decisions has helped Jamaica to maintain investor confidence and protect public resources.
The government did not give up more than it had to for this project to be considered feasible. The public purse was not sacrificed to make this project profitable. The people of Jamaica are going to get from this project significant benefits, and in fact more benefits than what we would have had to give as incentives. There is a particular attempt, which is believed even by intelligent people, that the economic performance of this administration does not matter, that good governance does not matter. When your debt is 150% of GDP and you get a $1 billion project, you're going to give as much incentives as you can just to secure the project, because it is a promise that I could reduce this massive debt. When your unemployment rate is 13% and you get a project that says it's $1 billion, 1,000 rooms, 3,000 persons are going to be employed, you really don't care what the long-term impacts are. You want to get those jobs in now. Can you see what poor economic outturns can do to governments in making investment decisions? This government did not do that.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says focus is being placed on creating fit-for-purpose academic programs that respond to the needs of the industry. He made this statement at the launch of the Gastronomy Academy in the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James yesterday. The minister highlighted that creating academic programs that are appropriate to the jobs available is an area of focus in the tourism industry.
The final position is now to create within our space fit-for-purpose academic programs that are responding to what the appropriate needs of the industry is at the point in time that we are operating. So while the world trains you with all the pedagogic skills that you need to have, and the world trains you to acquire knowledge, we, with these academies, are teaching you how to convert that knowledge into meaningful and practical things that have a value and a price.
Mr. Bartlett outlined multiple academic programs within the industry through which training is being provided.
We have taken you through all the layers now of training to enable stackable credentials within the industry for professionalism. You started out with Team Jamaica, which is at the basic entry level, just to familiarize yourself with the basic elements of our culture, our mores, our practices, our slangs and phrases and so on. So when you are engaging the visitor, you can sound relevant, that you know about the history of your area around you, and you understand how to communicate the basic wishes for satisfaction of the visitor. And then from that, we have hard programs that are dealing with various elements of entry level again into the industry. But we've gone one step further. Beyond that, we go into the high schools now. And we have 33 high schools that we have at the upper end of the school, grade 13, 12, 11. And we institute a certification program that is going towards an associate degree in time in hotel management and customer service. So we're saying And we have graduated a little over 350 of those already, I'm told, and it's growing.
Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett. A St. Elizabeth man has been charged in relation to the murder of a nightclub dancer last month. He is 33-year-old farmer Kenneth Troop, otherwise called Brownman, of Cook Drive in Santa Cruz. Dead is 34-year-old Nikisha Francis Monfort, otherwise called Chocolate. Reports are that on Saturday, June 28, an altercation developed between Francis Monfort and Troop, during which the woman was hit in the head with a stool and stabbed. During the police investigation, Troop was seen on surveillance footage hitting the woman in the head and stabbing her shortly after. A post-mortem conducted revealed that Miss Francis Monfort died due to stab wounds to the torso and blunt trauma to the head. Troop was later apprehended and taken into custody, where an interview was conducted and he was charged with murder. A court date is being finalized. As the election season intensifies, political parties are being urged to verify persons or organizations that donate to their election campaigns. According to the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, this is important as the unregulated flow of money into campaigns oftentimes has negative consequences. Among these are the risk to those who donate funds will control the elected representatives they finance, and the risk that dirty or illicit money will corrupt the system and undermine the rule of law. Speaking at an election campaign financing webinar this morning, Director of Legal Affairs and Compliance at the EOJ, Fennell Daly, said if political parties cannot verify the donors, they should arrange to have the funds transmitted to the Accountant General's Department.
Having taken all reasonable steps, and you're still not sure where the funds are coming from, your fourth responsibility as a candidate or a registered political party is to arrange for the funds to be transmitted to the Accountant General's Department. Let me go again. If, as a candidate or a registered political party, you recognize that you're unable to verify the source, make arrangements immediately for the funds to be transmitted to the Accountant General's Department by completing Form 4. Fourth responsibility, complete Form 4 if applicable.
Director of Legal Affairs and Compliance at the EOJ, Fennell Daly. She explained that this can be done after the necessary forms are completed and submitted. And with that story, we have come